Hi, everybody. This is Peg Fitzpatrick, and I am here today with Guy Kawasaki and Dustin Stout, and we are going to talk about Google Plus and Pinterest, the superpower searches of these two mega powers together, how to use them together, and why you should use them together. So, as I said, my name is Peg Fitzpatrick. I am joined by Mr. Kawasaki. Would you like to say hello?
Hello.
We're not going to do the tell us about yourselves because you can just click on our bios. We have like all the information you'd ever want. Mr. Stout?
Hello, bonjour, and hola.
Visual marketing mixologist, Dustin. So, Guy, why don't you start by talking about Google Plus a little bit, maybe for people who aren't using it, and explain what you love about it.
Okay, so I love Google Plus, and I have loved it almost since the moment I first started using it. I love the white space, the aesthetics, the basic design of it. I thought the comments and the people there were at a higher level, back then. And generally, I am convinced, though, people who are trying to tell me, how Google works, I'm convinced that being on Google Plus helps you with Google in general. Not that I have any proof for this, not that anybody needs proof for something like that. And so I consider Google Plus one of the main things as a platform. I use a tool called Sprout where I write once and I post to multiple places simultaneously. So it's no more work for me to post to Google Plus, Twitter, and Facebook than it is to post to any one of those. So I figure, why not? And I have a mere, 6.7 or 8 million followers on Google Plus. So it's all worked out very well for me.
It certainly has. Okay, Dustin, I know you're a huge Google Plus fan, but I have definitely pulled you over to the Pinterest side, and I believe it is now your #1 traffic refer. Is that correct?
It is, as much as I love Google Plus for all the reasons that Guy just said.
Right.
Aside from the fact that it was where I really decided to build my platform, and has been the #1 contributor to my professional success. Pinterest has totally blown me away. I didn't believe it at first.
Or for maybe like a year and a half, but okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Counting. Who's counting?
Me. Go ahead.
It was a bit of a pride thing because I'm a designer. I've been a designer by trade, and Pinterest is extremely visual. Google Plus has always been visual. I've done very well there, but Pinterest, I was not gaining any traction. But admittedly, I wasn't putting in a whole lot of work. I was just kind of expecting it to happen, like most people who dismiss Google Plus. They just expect it to happen doing the work.
Yeah.
All right. So I gave it a try. At the beginning of this year, I started optimizing my site. Actually created a plugin to help me do Pinterest better. And it's crazy. I shared a graphic with the stats from my website, the traffic referral sources, and you see Pinterest from March of this year to now just going like this. And it's now the #1 traffic referrer for my site. And I don't put in a whole lot of effort like I do on Google Plus or Twitter. I've optimized a few things and made sure that the sharing that goes out from my blog, Dustin.tv, is optimized for Pinterest, and it's just been unbelievable. Just befuddling is the only word that I can think of.
Can you tell us exactly what you do? So what, do you write a blog post and then you make sure that there's a good, correct size image for Pinterest, or what's your exact procedure?
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. So for every single blog post, I've always created an image. I've always been a big proponent of creating visuals that connect your audience emotionally to what you're trying to convey. You create a visual that instantly connects to your message, and your audience will be a whole lot more likely to share it. So what I did was I started creating both the regular blog image, which is usually a 16:9 ratio, sort of built for film style, or videos, because that tends to do better on screens. Visually just looks better. But for Pinterest, the images on Pinterest, because of the way that the network is laid out, the vertical images do better. So Peg told me her magic number for an optimal Pinterest image size. So I started.
I actually remembered where I found that, Dustin. It's actually in Pinterest. It's there in their official data. Remember, I was like, I don't know where I got that number. 735 is the maximum width for a Pinterest image, and then that ratio is it's from Pinterest. So I knew I didn't like randomly make it up, but you know, the interesting thing that Dustin's talking about is a problem that a lot of bloggers have, which is their blog wants a horizontal image, and how do you translate that for Pinterest?
Yeah.
And I started doing the bigger Pinterest images more than a year ago, and Rebecca did as well. And the same, I have to say, Dustin, Rebecca, and I, bloggers, all publishing content all the time, we spend way more time on Google+, but Pinterest is the #1 traffic referral for all of us. So, you know, it's less time in. It's just making sure your images rock and having a great description, but it's not the time that you spend on Google+, not that it's not awesome time talking to people and commenting and all those things, and connecting with where maybe you're making more business connections on Google+, but Pinterest is giving you the blog traffic. So, you know, that's the magic right there, is using them together. And then the other magic is that Pinterest is guided search and Google is search. So, you know, you have discovery and you have guided. So you're looking at like two different ways to find your content. So if you can rank well on both of those by just creating a vertical image, come on. Right? It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, so that's what I did, and I started creating those vertical images, and myself, my buddy Nicholas Cardot, who's in the audience right now, and our other friend Jason Weiser, we created a WordPress plugin specifically for my site, which we now just released into the public as a premium WordPress plugin that has that ability to hide a Pinterest image, so that when somebody hits your Pinterest button, your sharing button, beautifully designed sharing button, that image automatically pulls up. That's optimized for Pinterest, and you can write your own description. And so when I started implementing that, I mean, literally skyrocketed. And at the time when we started this, there was no way any network could touch how much traffic Google Plus was sending to my site. It was I mean, it was just the juggernaut of all the networks. But Pinterest.
But here's the thing, Dustin. The grass is greener where you water it.
Exactly.
And that's the thing. Quite a few Google Plus people say that, you know, well, Google Plus is always my biggest traffic referral. Are you sharing it anywhere else? No. Okay, well, you know, all you need to do is sprinkle a little bit on your Pinterest garden.
Yeah.
And you can still water your Google Plus. So
Well,
the other bonus is you can create your big image in Canva, which we'll share for Guy. But I really do make all my images in Canva. You just make one big image, and that image looks great on Google Plus and Pinterest. So it may be hidden on your blog with Dustin's plugin, but you know, you create them, and you can create one great size that hits both of the superpowers.
One size to rule them all.
So maybe you guys can explain. So, okay, so we understand the procedure of what you do, but okay, now it's fully deployed. You've blogged, you put the right things, you've used all the magic plugins and everything. Now, how did it generate traffic? So, did one reader pin it, and that person's followers on Pinterest saw it and click through? So what's the scenario? You know, how did it work the rest of the way?
Well, here's the thing with Pinterest is that it's long-term traffic. With Google Plus, you post it, although now you can pin images to the top of your Google Plus feed. Thank you, Google, for that. But with Pinterest, it's long-term traffic. Like Google Plus, you're going to get traffic for a day or two from your post. From Pinterest, pins are repinned weeks, months, years later. Like sometimes a pin just starts going around like a pinball, and you don't really know why, but it just, some keyword search came up, but the traffic it goes on forever. So for example, for the ape, 2 years ago, I made a Pinterest quote. Actually, it's the ugliest thing I ever made, but it's almost the most popular, which is so sad. But it was a quote from Ape from the book for the launch, and that 2 years later, that still gets repins like every day.
Okay, but I'm trying to get to help people understand,
Hmm.
how did it go from Dustin's blog to people pinning it? Like, what's the scenario that got it into Pinterest? Because Dustin didn't put it into Pinterest. People pinned it, right?
Well,
Hmm.
both. Sometimes people pin it, and sometimes I always pin my own. Dustin, I
Okay.
hope, pins all of his now. Yes, Dustin?
Yeah, every single
Okay.
one.
Dustin
Okay.
wasn't before, but Dustin does now. So you pin your own, but a lot of times it can be someone else's pin, and
Okay.
80% of the things that are repins.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
only 20% of the content is new. So most people are not pinning their own new fresh thing. They're looking for information. So for example, if someone was looking for how to create a Google Plus image, they might search for images and Dustin's blog post might come up.
Mhm.
Or they could like something else of Dustin's and that could be a related pin. For each pin, there's like 4 different places where you can find more information.
Mm-hmm.
You can repin that pin. It will give you the person's profile. It will give you the board that it's pinned on. And then underneath, there's related pins, which is one of my best sources for finding great pins. I
Okay.
look underneath the pin that I already love, and I find tons and tons of other related pins. So if some person finds one great pin of Dustin's, they can look underneath. They could see other things that were pinned from Dustin.tv, or they can look underneath and see related pins, which could be mine or Rebecca's by chance, because we may be pinned to the same boards.
Mhm.
So with
And
not only do you search, but all the related, Pinterest gives you a whole bunch of different ways to find things.
and when Dustin pins his own blog posts,
Hmm.
where which where does he pin it? Which board of Dustin, or how does that work? Well, we got to really get down to like the nits for people so they understand how to
Yeah,
truly do
well,
this.
I've done a really good job at optimizing my boards for keywords. So
Mm-hmm.
we're talking about search, and one of the key components in doing well in search marketing or search engine strategy is optimizing for keywords. So
Mm-hmm.
I've got all my boards that basically align with my blog categories. So I've got a social media board, I've got a visual awesomeness board,
Mm-hmm.
I've got a digital marketing board. I've got a Google Plus board. So those boards are all optimized with the keywords so that when
Mm-hmm.
somebody searches for it, that board is likely to come up because that's what they're searching for. And so when I pin something, I pin it to the appropriate board.
Okay. And when you say someone search, you're saying someone searches at Pinterest, not at Google's website, right?
Ah, well, here's the caveat.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's the proper use of that word. Um, Google actually indexes Pinterest boards.
Okay.
So someone can search in Google search and find pins.
Okay.
Or they can search Pinterest and find pins. That's where the real power is. Now, I've always been on Google Plus because I know that Google Plus posts are indexed in search, and you can find Google Plus posts in search, unlike Facebook posts, which you'll never find in search. Um,
Sometimes.
and yeah, if you're a celebrity, sure, that might work.
Okay.
But
We are celebrities.
Yeah, we on Facebook.
you both are. I'm working my way up with a celebrity totem pole. Um,
We're only kidding. We have a never mind. Go ahead.
but that's the power. The power is in the ability to search on both platforms. Google has always
Right.
been the king of search. Now Pinterest, out of nowhere, is becoming a search giant, and it's
It is.
sort of the silent giant coming up behind Google.
I've been saying it like for a couple years, but the amazing thing is that people forget Google image search is huge, and the Pinterest images go right in there. So it worked. That's why Google Plus and Pinterest are amazing together. I mean, it really Google actually helps Pinterest be better. They may regret that someday, but I actually, when I am looking for something, I look on Google Plus first.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm sorry, I look on Pinterest first.
Oh.
If I need good content, sorry, Dustin, I go to Pinterest to find my great content. I find great things in related pins. I just know that I'll find great stuff there.
So Peg, you just said something very interesting. So
Mhm.
let's say it's not that you would need this help, but let's say that you want a turkey recipe, right? So prior to Pinterest, most people would go to Google and type in how to roast a turkey. Are
Hmm.
you saying that you would go to Pinterest and type in how to roast a turkey?
I would go to Pinterest for that, and I tell you what, I probably already created a resource board for myself there on the things that I might want later. I've used Pinterest to save things for now. I don't even know how long, 2.5, 3 years, however long I've been there since the beta, and I've created resource boards that I use for everything. So if somebody says to me, I'm confused on how to use Google Plus, I could share one blog post of mine, or what I usually do is I share my Google Plus resource board, and I say I've created this whole resource board for you where you
Hmm.
can go and find great stuff. It's a huge help to people when you can share a whole resource board.
So
Hmm.
if someone went to Pinterest right now and typed in uh, how to publish a book, you think they would find ape pins?
I certainly hope so, but yes.
Okay.
Because it's and I did the same thing that Dustin has done. You know,
Hmm.
all the boards are out. You use keywords, not hashtags on
Hmm.
Pinterest, but
Hmm.
you just in your descriptions write, you write the title of what it is, but then you also write, great tips for how to publish a book, and you write it in the board descriptions, the board titles, and the Pinterest and the pin description. So there's like 3 or 4 places per pin. This is how Pinterest really maximizes their search. You have like 3 or 4 opportunities per post to get keywords in there. It's really like amazing.
So is someday there's going to be a PEO business?
Probably,
Yeah.
yeah, or a
That's
Pinterest optimization something.
Something.
PO.
we gotta make it come out PIS.
That's bad. Pinterest information system.
Sure.
So yeah, I mean those
No,
are
it'd be Pinterest Information System Strategy.
no, that's negative. Okay, so anyway, we've segued into a dark area. Um,
Oh
Dustin,
my
let's
God!
talk
Hey, I just typed in how to publish a book on Pinterest, and it's full of stuff.
for
And
ape.
some ape, but not only ape, but that's okay. But
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's got just image after image about self-publishing.
Yep.
imagine that.
What a concept!
Yeah. So if you want to publish a book, go look on Pinterest. So let's talk a little bit about images and SEO for images, Dustin, like naming your image and those important things. Because I know you were just doing some research on that.
Oh yeah, a lot of research on that. Actually, writing a piece for a very large, well-known digital publication that I will save as a surprise. But
Dustin likes to tease all his stuff. I just say it all the time. I just blow it.
so much fun for me. Uh, so the keys that you have to understand if you're optimizing anything for search is to communicate well. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it's about, right? Communicating well enough so that people can find what they're looking for. And so one thing that a lot of people I think overlook is when they create their images, how they name their images. And standard, best practices are, name it what it's about. Name the, whatever it is,
Mhm.
Pinterest image.jpg or .png, whatever format you use. Make those words descriptive of whatever that image is. And that way, when Google indexes it, it can actually read the file name and, rank it better for those keywords. And one little quick tip: always separate the words, not with a space, but with either a dash or an underscore, so that Google sees those as separate words.
So
Um,
so me keeping my image names as DSC1578 is not optimal.
that is not optional, no. Unless you want people to look for DSC. About DSC, I've been to DSC before. Really great reviews.
Well, you never know. Maybe all the Nikon heads are like, oh, let's go look for some new DSCs today.
Yeah, it could be. But yeah, I mean, for everyone else who's not taking images of DSCs.
So, Dustin, if you're in Canva, do you actually do the same thing and put the hyphen in the descriptions?
Yeah.
Because those save. If you create an image in Canva and put the title, it'll save onto your computer, and then you're going to upload that to Pinterest, Google Plus, or wherever else. So,
Right.
do you do that everywhere that you save?
Everywhere. Everywhere, I always optimize the file name so that if the search engine picks it up, it knows exactly what that image is, or at least can be a little bit more intuitive about where it should surface that image in search.
I just
Dustin,
read a thing that said use hyphens and not underscores. Is there a difference?
From my research, no, there's not. It's really just a preference kind of thing. It used to be underscores was the popular thing to do, but now a lot of people are using the hyphens instead.
Dustin, do you have kids?
I do. 2 of them.
What's the name?
My oldest, he just turned 3, is Judah.
Okay, so is his name Judah hyphen Stout, and so that he's optimized for Pinterest searches throughout his life?
No, it's not.
His
Well,
kids
why
do
don't you get it
hashtags,
together,
though.
Dustin? I mean, my God.
He's got hashtags for his kids, though, so they're 50% of the way
You want
there.
your kids to go through life sub-optimized? I mean,
That'll be the next thing. That'll be the next you'll add all of it in there.
Optimized children.
put that in your reminders to do, right?
You know what? You're joking about that guy, but there's plenty of people that, as soon as their kids are born, go get the domain names and the Gmail accounts and all
I
of that.
did. I have them.
You have all your kids' domain names?
Yeah, I'm selling advertising now.
Yeah, because we want to read the real story behind life with Dad Kawasaki.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, so images. So you're going to save your images with the names, and then the second most important part after the name would be your alt description, correct?
Descriptions, yes. I mean, if you have the ability to get into the HTML, wherever you're embedding the image, you have the ability to write those alt tags or alt descriptions because search engines look at those too. But if you're in WordPress, my favorite content management system, WordPress, when you upload something, allows you to put in a description of the image. So that's where you would, it's sort of the same thing as an alt tag. And you want to fill that with an accurate description. Fill your keywords in there. Make sure that image is optimized so that when Google comes and reads that image's code, it knows more about the image and can surface it into search.
So
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay. So I like to stay, really practical and tactical since that's the kind of guy I am. So let's suppose that I have a WordPress blog and I've been watching this Hangout and I'm saying, yeah, man, I'm gonna get on this bandwagon. So now I've been sort of just taking images, maybe I'm buying stock photos from Stocksy or something. So now tell me, going forward from this point on, when I get an image for my blog, and let's say I take the case where I either shot the photo or I bought the photo from Stocksy, what do I do with that photo? Like, what size should I make it, and what, just go down checklists. Like, I have a website called Holy Cow, and I'm going to tell all the contributors, okay, this is the new procedure for photos so that it's optimized for Pinterest. So what do I tell them?
I think they already do this, but go ahead, Dustin. I think Holy Cow does name all their photos.
I've actually, created 3 templates that I use regularly, for my own personal use, and then I've actually put them on my blog for people to download. There's 3 sizes that you need to know. Okay. And this is not an exact science. This is an approximate science, and I like to be efficient. So these 3 work optimally on all platforms. So it's the landscape, which is the horizontal images, great for blogs or Google Plus or Twitter. Landscape size is 1280 pixels wide by 720 pixels tall. That is the perfect HD high definition size, 16:9 ratio. So you can also use that type of an image for a YouTube thumbnail if you want to customize a YouTube thumbnail. Works great on Twitter like I said, Google Plus too, but Google Plus is very ubiquitous. You can use all kinds of size.
But Dustin, is that the size that will sometimes go full screen on Google
Yes.
Plus if they happen to do it for you that day?
Yeah, if you are lucky enough, every now and then in the Google Plus stream, you'll see a post go what we call full stream, which means it crosses multiple columns, gets you that huge chunk of real estate. If you want to grab that real estate or have any chance at grabbing it, you have to create a horizontal image. So 1280 by 720, 16 by 9 ratio, is the perfect size for that.
And is that good on mobile? From Google Plus, if you use that big image, it's good on mobile too, right?
It's good on mobile. You know, it's not as optimal because, you know, a mobile phone is tall. But you know, if someone's
See,
surfing,
that's the thing. You have to make it with every visual image size. You have to make a sacrifice somewhere.
Yeah.
Sucks, but it's true.
So the second image size is 900 by 900, which is bigger than you need, but in my opinion, go bigger so that if it has to shrink, it doesn't kill the quality. But if you go too small and it has to get bigger, then it ruins the quality. High quality is the name of the game.
Here's an image that Dustin created, 900 by 900 on Instagram.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes. So squares are really good for Instagram. Obviously, you could only post squares on Instagram.
Yeah.
But they also look good on Facebook. They also look good on Google Plus, and you know, other social networks that aren't.
Facebook honestly is the trickiest because they will put black boxes on it. They border it in weird ways. But if you love Facebook and you want that to be like, if it's a really important post, you should use their 940 by 788 if it's something really super Facebook important, because that's their full size and that looks perfect on mobile and on a page. It doesn't get any weird borders or anything.
Interesting.
They're the only ones that, like, they are not. Google Plus, if you put an image in, it'll resize it, it'll look gorgeous. It might not be perfect on mobile, but everywhere on desktop, no matter what size you do on Google Plus is good. But Facebook Newsfeed that's the only size that's perfect for a Facebook page.
But you guys are straying from my question.
Okay, how do you do it?
Well, no. My question was not how you optimize pictures for posts on social media. My question was, I'm a blogger. I have a WordPress blog. What should my pictures be for my blog so that it works best with Pinterest? So I'm not talking about individual social media posts. I'm saying all I do is WordPress blog. What do I do?
So wait, are you asking about the best size for the blog post or the best
for the blog post?
How to do the name?
No. Just tell me what to do for the blog post. Size of the picture,
Perfect.
What do I name it, you know, all this stuff so that downstream it works best for Pinterest.
Perfect. So now
that's open graph
question. This is a twofold. So the first thing, create the blog image, 1280 by 720. The horizontal landscape looks best on all blog posts.
Okay.
But once you've done that, you've named it, you know, you've created that blog image, name the file according to the keywords, but I would create a second image that is not horizontal but vertically oriented, and that vertical orientation is 735 wide by 1102 tall, right?
Okay.
So you create the same exact image, just lay it out differently, horizontally, and you use that as your Pinterest image. Name it the same, describe it the same, share it to Pinterest with a link to the blog post.
And I have to tell you,
continuity as well.
Yeah. As a good case study, Pinterest did a study on BuzzFeed, who gets amazing traffic everywhere, and they do GIFs on all their posts. They have focused in the past, I think maybe a year, maybe not even a whole year, on Pinterest and creating Pinterest images, and now they're getting like insane traffic because they made Pinterest changes to their blog. Holy Cow is pinnable, and the images that are on there do pin, but they're horizontal because that every single blog design takes a horizontal image.
And what if I'm a blogger and I say, man, some of these images, they just won't work well vertical and horizontal. So, if I was going to just make one, Should I make it vertical and put it on my blog and make my blog look slightly uglier, or should I make it horizontal and make Pinterest slightly uglier?
What I do for that is I pin my image and then I embed the pin on the bottom. So you have the image. Dustin's like, really? So you can't get around Holy Cow setup, and it has that awesome horizontal image, which you can't change because that's the size that fits with the blog theme. So I create my Pinterest image, I put it on Pinterest, and then I embed the code down in the bottom, and then it's a live Pinterest pin.
That's the source code or something like that?
Pardon me?
The source, was that what they call the source code, or there's that field where you put the link? That's what you're talking about?
Yeah, I use the HTML embed Pinterest widget. They have a little pin widget where you can create the code, and it goes into the HTML side of your WordPress. Guys like looking at me like you're such a dork. So you don't even know how. We never talk about that because of that. This is what I do. I spend forever making one blog post awesome because it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
The Pinterest traffic could, it's huge.
On that question, you can kind of go either way on that question. The argument can be made. My argument would be, like, optimize it for the blog itself.
Okay.
Because that's where people land, and that's where people will fall in love with your writing, and that's ultimately where you want people to convert highest. So I would optimize it for the blog itself. But the other side of the coin would be if people don't find your blog through either Pinterest or a social network, they're not going to be able to get that reading experience, so you have to optimize for social first.
Right.
So, at the end of the day, decide what your goal is. Where Dustin
traffic.
What's that?
It's always traffic, blog traffic.
Yeah, it's always traffic.
Yeah.
But if you have loyal readers, they'll be sending you traffic anyways.
It's true.
There's the back and forth. And I'm lucky enough to have some amazing readers. My email subscribers are the best in the world. And
after
a lot
mine.
of traffic. What's that?
I said after mine. I was just kidding. Yeah, but it's definitely a personal choice on what the blog should always be optimized for the blog. Of course, that's true, Dustin. That's why before I changed my theme over, that's why I always embed my pins, because you can't put the vertical image until I try Dustin's WordPress plugin and use it that way. But yeah, it's hard to figure out how to make it work. Just got to make a choice. So we are like a little bit over the 30-minute mark, so I think we should probably wrap up our social media search superpower hangout. Do you guys have any last tips or tricks to add?
Well, Dustin, you tell people to read our book.
Read this amazing book. Our social media power tips for power users. I got my copy. It's actually autographed by the two celebrities who read this book because it's amazing. I've already read through it. I was fortunate enough to be one of the test readers, and I'm going to reread it now. Now that I have the physical, tangible version. But go get it. Read it. You'll be a better person and a better social media person.
Okay. I think we can end there, Peg.
Okay. Well, awesome. Okay. Well, thank you everybody for watching. I did put a whole bunch of links to blog posts that would be helpful for you to read from Dustin's blog, my blog, and a link for What the Plus, which is Guy's book on Google Plus, which is available on Noise Trade. And of course, you can get this if you didn't understand everything that we said in a half hour. You can read it in a little more detail there. So thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.